Get ready with me to go to the library. Woohoo! What's that? I'm going to the library. I've just stopped at like a little like place so I can look at nature while I do my makeup in my car. Not my car, my boyfriend's car. I'm doing my makeup, going to the library, and then I've got some uni class this afternoon. So yeah, I thought this get ready with me, I could talk a little bit more about my experience in terms of getting mental health. Getting mental health help. I just wanted to start off by saying that everyone's like experience with mental health and the mental health system and like their story, it's all different. Like I'm gonna say some things and people probably aren't gonna have the same experience, but at the end of the day, I just think talking about it's more important than pretty much anything, like using this and this. But talking about it's just so important, so listen. Or don't listen, that's fine. But I think that the more we talk about it, the more you're going to come across people, because I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that like 1% of the population has bipolar disorder, and I'm pretty sure like more than that have borderline personality disorder. Let's actually talk about borderline personality disorder for a second, okay? That would have to be the most, or one of the most stigmatized mental health disorders, disorders. So let's just like get educated on it. So borderline personality disorder is a personality disorder. I could have told you that for free. And essentially it's a lot more than just mood swings. I think we have to, I forgot what I was saying, but what I'm trying to say is borderline personality disorder is more, it's less of a like disorder that just you're born with, because you're not actually born with it. I'm 90% sure that it stems from a really like a traumatic childhood, essentially. It's like a coping mechanism. It's like bad things have happened to you, so your brain's kind of protected itself. It's had to do that. And I think that if you just step back and kind of think about people with borderline personality disorder, that they had to endure all this trauma, and now their brain is rewired in a way that doesn't look palatable to some people. But when I tell you that a few of my friends have borderline personality disorder, and the stigma around it like is so far from wrong, I think people need to not look at it as like, oh, they're moody, they switch up on you, or they're just so insecure and they're doing it all for attention. It's not true, and I think that it's so dangerous for people to assume that people are doing anything in a form of like a means to get attention. I think it's disgusting. I think that if you're going to say that someone's doing something for attention, then you're not the right person to help someone with a mental health disorder or issue. I remember in high school, like there was ways that I was coping with my things, and sometimes like there would be marks on my arm. And it's sad to think that people, I remember one person actually said to me, oh, is that for attention? And I think that we need to step back and think, like, how is that a response? Like, it actually really upset me, because I don't think anyone's going around doing these things for attention. Like maybe a cry for help, maybe? So that's always stuck with me. It really, really grinds my gears when people are like, they're doing this for attention, or like, it's just not true. It's not true, and it actually really angers me. It grinds my gears, it boils my blood. If you see someone with any kind of, self-inflicted, like anything, they need help, they need connection, and I think that if you approach it from the view that's like, oh, you're doing this for attention, then they're just going to completely literally just keep, like, just feel so isolated. So yeah, don't say that to anyone. Ask them if they need someone to talk to, ask them what's going on in their life, even just if they don't want to talk, just be like, hey man, let's sit together. Like, if you just want to sit, I'll literally just sit and be with you, because there's nothing worse than just feeling alone when all that stuff's happening. I've been yapping for 5 minutes. I'm very sorry. But this, and the other one. But yeah, someone actually commented on one of my posts about borderline personality disorder, so I wanted to talk about it a bit more. Again, like, I don't claim to know a lot about it, but I know people with it, and I know that a lot of the symptoms overlap with bipolar disorder, and I know that it is a mental health disorder that people associate with attention seeking and like really sporadic behavior. I think attention seeking is just a really dangerous way to put things, because I don't think if anyone's doing anything for attention, it usually means they're like really hurting inside, or they don't know how to cope with the big emotions that they feel. I know that people with borderline personality disorder, they feel things like so intensely. Like, it's like they're very much sensitive to emotion, and usually it's because they've been forced to feel very intense emotion due to like trauma that's happened when they were younger. So I think that if we're a bit more mindful in terms of our language around it, and just changing our view on it, like, instead of saying, oh, that person with borderline personality disorder is doing things for attention, why not be like, oh, that person who has borderline personality disorder has gone through a lot in their life, which is why sometimes they might not handle things the same way that I do. I think people that don't struggle with mental health conditions are often the ones that have the most to say about them. If you haven't experienced a mental health disorder, like a diagnosis, or if you haven't really met someone with a disorder, which is crazy because you probably have, I just feel as though it's not your place to talk about it. It isn't even my place to talk about it, but I just wanted to somehow maybe just bring up a different perspective on borderline personality disorder. Because I've actually even seen a YouTube video of a psychologist from like the United States, and she was talking about borderline personality in like a really negative way, and it kind of upset me because I was like, if you're a psychologist, how are you going to talk about this disorder like it's so just like, I don't know, negative? Like, it's like all the symptoms she was talking about like in such a bad light. Like, how are you going to like treat patients if you have like such a negative view on it? Oh my lord. But yeah, that's what I really wanted to say, that people with borderline personality disorder aren't these mean creatures that can't control their behavior. They're sensitive people, individuals that feel so much that sometimes it's hard to like, you know, function. And I think that these like people, it's just such a bad rap, and I don't think that it's deserved at all. And I also think that a lot of people don't know how to treat borderline personality disorder. A lot of people do, but I know that some people don't really want to. Again, I think that's just would make people with borderline personality disorder feel horrible. So all I have to say is, if you meet someone with borderline personality disorder, they are not doing things for attention, they are not inept, they can do things, they feel a lot, they've been through a lot, so the least you can do is be kind, be patient, and just try and be understanding. You are never ever ever gonna know exactly what they're going through, but the least you could do is just be a decent human being. The last thing you want to make anyone feel is ashamed of who they are. And I think people with mental health conditions already feel like they're crazy, already feel like they're just not enough because their brain doesn't work the way that it should work. But it gives the people more character. It allows us to feel emotions on such a big scale. So yeah, be nice to yourself and be nice to people with borderline personality disorder or any kind of mental health disorder. Hope you have a good day.